So today I just want to give you 3 reasons as to why I personally think that everyone should learn to code. And just a bit of background about me so that you understand like my personal interests. If you do not know me, I am Manat Kulatunga. I study computer science at McGill University and I'm currently finishing off my third internship term as a software developer at Geotab, which is one of the largest telematics companies in the world. And moving on, so like I understand that some of you might think that oh, like he's a computer science student, so his opinions might be biased, but honestly, just hear me out. I truly think that your opinion and viewpoint might change by the end of this video. So reason number 1 as to why I believe that everyone should learn to code is that I think it's a super easy skill to learn. Now, I personally also think that people have confused computer science and software engineering with coding. Honestly, it's not the same thing, right? Software engineering is on a very surface level using engineering practices to push software products forward. Computer science is in essence an applied mathematics degree, and the reason why coding is spoken about with both these majors as a very geeky thing is because coding is used as a tool to solve problems that pop up in these fields. It's like I said, it's not the same thing. It's a nice addition to those specific fields. And because of this confusion, I've noticed that a lot of people kind of think that you need to be like a mathematical genius to kind of get into code, and you need to really know like algorithms, graph theory, number theory, and things of that nature to actually understand what's going on with like code, and build products and push products online and things of that nature. But honestly, I don't think you need to know anything particularly deep like in terms of arithmetic when it comes to like learning code, right? Like, and even if you're going into like even designing websites and things of that nature, you don't need to know arithmetic at all. Like the only arithmetic you're going to need is like subtraction and addition and things like that. So like yeah, like I want to really clarify that you don't need that mathematical genius-ish knowledge to kind of like get into coding at all. And I think you also don't need to learn or get yourself introduced to code in a very academic environment. If you want to keep yourself accountable through like school, through grades, through professors and your peers, that's a great way to get into it, through like an introduction to computer science course or something like that. But it's not for everyone. If you want to add this skill to your skill set at your own time and pace, you have the option of doing so, right? Like, and it's totally not necessary for you to like take a class to do that. So please keep that in mind, right? And the reason why I say that it's a super easy skill to learn is because there are a ton of resources online, and with those ton of resources, it like comes great help, because this is pretty much the most demanded skill of the 21st century, right? And there are a lot of people who speak about this. There are a lot of people who are interested in it, and there are a lot of people who are starting off with it too. So there are people of all experience levels, and you can definitely dabble around with that community for sure, without a doubt. And I truly think that it's something that's very readily available too. And the other thing on top of that is all these resources are pretty much free. Like they're super cheap, and some of them are actually really like literally free. And like with everything I've said, right? Like I think I've made my case a bit stronger, because you don't need to have like a large amount of mathematical knowledge to do this. You don't need like to expose yourself to an academic setting to kind of do this. And all of this comes at really like a next to nothing financial investment. So I think that's a brilliant skill to kind of put in your arsenal anyway. So why not, right? And obviously, like I do agree that getting started might be a bit confusing, because there are a lot of people talking about different sorts of things, and I will produce a video on that. And actually, in addition to that, I really talk about like these kind of topics about like careers, internships, applying to college and surviving through college on this channel. So I would certainly appreciate it if you subscribe to this channel and like this video if you've gotten this far, and if you think that I've added value to your life in some form. So now I shall move on to reason number 2, and that's basically that I believe coding is the most empowering skill of the 21st century. I truly believe that. It's because I think there are a lot of creative outlets that we could take, and I think coding has given us like a way to kind of publish and share our work in different ways, right? And the first kind of example that I get is, if you ever want to open up a business, right? Obviously there are businesses in different models and different business models, different financial models, but I think like in many cases, like it's a very good idea to get your business off the ground by building an application or by building a website on a very simple level. And you've seen the biggest startups in the world, the biggest businesses and the biggest corporations in the world really start off or are moving towards a very technological approach. And I've had a lot of students kind of ask me to develop applications for their business ideas. The only reason why I didn't get involved in that is because I didn't have genuine passion for those kind of the problems that they wanted to address. But personally, if I wanted to open up like a business or open up an online store or like do anything of that sort, I don't need to wait on anyone, right? Like I can just build an application in like a couple of days or like 3 days. I literally don't need to wait on anyone or get anyone's permission or check on anyone to kind of put life to my ideas or bring life to my ideas, right? Like, so I think that makes you feel extremely powerful, that makes you feel extremely free. And I truly think that if you're someone who likes to be very creative, you need to kind of get on and kind of understand code more and develop that skill with practice. The other thing is that a few examples I have is like if you're like a writer, for example, if you ever want to take full control of your portfolio, learning a bit of HTML and CSS are kind of like tweaking your portfolio to the degree that you want, to the extreme degrees that you want to, is a pretty good idea. If you're a research student, or if you're looking for research opportunities, I think it's a very good idea to learn Python so that you can dabble around and manipulate data sets and form data visualizations and do things of that nature. I think that's truly like a great skill to have that will really make you stand out, right? So I don't think it's something that you can run away from once again. And the other reason why I believe it's an extremely empowering skill is because it opens up more avenues for income and thus more avenues for financial security, right? A lot of people get into freelancing using code and doing things with regards to code, and they earn a decent sum of money through that, and that truly helps them like not be too reliant on the 9-to-5s. And I've even heard stories where people just go full time into freelancing, where like they get really great contracts and things like that. And the best part about like freelancing and things like that is like you take those projects at your own time, whenever you want to, at wherever you are, and that provides great flexibility for literally anyone. So I think all these different avenues you can take using this one skill really proves that it is the most empowering skill of the 21st century. Reason number 3 is that coding is extremely hard to avoid. I look up to Samanth Palihapitiya. You should look this guy up if you don't know him. I think he's one of the most inspirational people I've ever met. And what he has said countlessly, and even specifically in this video called Speaking JavaScript, is that that companies are more technology oriented than mechanical oriented right now, and that's just the trend that is just constantly going on. And as companies are more reliant on technology, we need more technical people. And I think what he means by that is that the world is getting more digitized within the days that come along, and whatever profession that you're doing, regardless of what title you have or what you're going to get yourself involved in, you're going to do some form of statistical or data analysis, you're going to do some form of software development, you're going to do some form of prototyping or designing. And coding is used as a tool to solve all this entire array of problems, right? And like what's the point of like delaying the process of like understanding its importance, and not diving into the into educating yourself about code. If you really look at it, if you look at the world trends too, like Canada, like right over here, they're including coding as a requirement in like middle school curriculums, or high school, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that's an extremely great, very very strategic move, because it really preps people for the future, a future that we cannot avoid, and a future that we shouldn't like be ignorant. So I think with all this explanation and three reasons I've given, I think I've given you a very firm case as to why you'd consider, or you should consider, learning code if you haven't ever considered doing that before, or if I hope I've clarified any form of misunderstandings that people had about like this whole art of coding. I think it's an extremely beautiful thing, and I think more people should get into it. I want to see people feel empowered, put their ideas to life, and be more multidimensional, or as multidimensional as they could be, or as they want to be. I hope you've enjoyed this video once again, and I'm looking forward to producing more content right here next week. Thank you.